I don't think the Western world is set up for black people, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's always against us, and it's just nice not to deal with that.
Yeah.
The thing is, everybody's not going to want to live here, and everybody's not going to want to live in America. But is it possible that, through us having a community here, that could be a feedback loop into America that could benefit Black America and Africa at the same time? It's a possibility. It just hasn't been done yet, so nobody sees the advantage.
There's gonna come a point, and there always comes a point, where the West will always let you know who and what you are, and they deep down don't really respect you. We win in spite of where we live, not because of where we live.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Maya and this is the REPAT podcast. Now we have our most liked guest on the show today, Tina.
Woo!
You are
Superstar.
Exaggeration.
Yeah, tell them who you are.
I'm Tina.
Tina from where?
A big fan of Joe Anita.
Oh, okay.
Yes, of course.
Someone is hating on the other side, but it's fine. It's okay. Yeah, maintain, okay?
Yeah,
Introduce yourself.
I'm blessed. Maintain, DJ and producer from London, living in Kampala now for 5 years, and I'm defeated. What? Kampala 1, Maintain 0.
Maintain is always having a vibe. Anyway.
I was out last night. I lost.
The big man himself.
What's up, O'Shea Duke Jackson, Sacramento, California, Northern California, representing African American. Let's get into it.
Okay, perfect. Now we're going to react to a clip from Michelle Mazela on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to her channel. Watch this with us.
Why? Why are you moving back to Africa? When your own people is right here in America, suffering, being gentrified, losing their Section 8, losing housing, but yet you have money to spend in Africa, but not right here in America with your very own people. I see far too many Black Americans spending thousands, 10s, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 in Ghana. But right here, as you can see, you have property that your people want fixed up, and y'all let the Mexicans and the whites move in, but yet y'all invest in Africa. We can stop our own gentrification process by investing in our own. Stop gentrifying Africa and get your own communities together.
So guys, do you agree with what she's saying? Do you disagree? What is it? Tell us, please.
I don't agree with her. Not in the slightest. And she basically answered her own question as to why people are leaving America, according to her. Like everything she listed as an issue for why they should stay is basically the reasons why they're leaving. And as time's gone on, when I was younger, I tried to assimilate. I tried to add value to things, and I've just realized it's just, for me, London, UK was just not set up for someone that looks like me to win. I just find too many obstacles. So that's why I left. And I think she should change her mindset into leaving too, because I don't think the Western world is set up for black people, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's always against us, and it's just nice not to deal with that.
Yeah.
At sometimes. So yeah, I don't agree with her at all.
Okay, before we move on to Tina, what do you say about the Africans who are actually thriving in these countries? Like that rich, that they're living their best life.
You mean Africans or African Americans?
Sorry, African Americans.
Do you know what?
Because you said it's not, you don't think it's made for someone who looks like you, but there are people who look like you that are thriving and doing so well.
Yeah.
In the USA.
In the USA.
Yeah. And the UK.
And the UK. Yeah, they are. Great for them. But there's going to come a point, and there always comes a point, where the West will always let you know who and what you are, and they deep down don't really respect you. And, I mean, and like African Americans, British, we win in spite of where we live, not because of where we live. And it will always come back to that. Yeah, because I know loads of successful people in London, in America, and whatnot, and there's something, when I speak to them, there's always something deep inside that just is not right. And it's the fact that we will never really be accepted.
Okay. Perfect. Tina, moving on to you.
So like about
Yes.
But yeah, so like with the video, I don't know, it's just a bit like everyone, well not everyone, but many people like wake up and decide to go on the internet and just be like divisive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she said 4,000 people, but like the rest of the video, the lady, the owner of the channel, said that about there's like 41 million African Americans. So when you look at 4,000 out of 41 million, maths not there, but like it is very little. So it's like, even if they were to pour those resources back into the community, like that would be a drop in the ocean. So again, I feel like it's a part of like the divisiveness, which is semi-anti-Black, because it's like, why can't Black people just travel and find where they're free and where they're happy and settle there? The same way like white expats do all the time. So yeah,
Why can't they?
The whole point just seems a bit attention-seeky-ish.
Oh, cloud chasing. Okay.
Not you using trigger words, but yeah, to an extent, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Ashay, what do you think?
So, as you guys know, I did a recent interview with brother Tim Swain, African American in Ghana, and I asked him the same question. So I'd like to play a clip of what he had to say. Why can't we do it in Jackson, Mississippi? We can, there's Atlanta, Georgia, there's Detroit. Yeah. Why must it be on the continent of Africa when you have so many opportunities in America for Blacks?
And I think that's a phenomenal question. I believe that sometimes, I wouldn't just say it's Black folks, but sometimes we tend to think dualistically, either or. Well, how come you got to go to Africa? I got to help some folks here. How come I got to find development over there? I got to do this. It's both. It's both. What we're doing is we're telling people, you have to be able to really reconnect with where you come from. That don't mean you need to pick up everything, chunk the deuces to mama, daddy, grandma, and leave. It means that you just need to be able to find out what it means to reconnect via a visit or something that really helps you understand that your history started before 1619. And there's a difference between reading something in a book versus going to a place, experiencing it, having conversations, that intercultural dialogue and that real cultural immersion. So the thing is, we do both. All right. So after hearing that, he said something very profound. We can do both, right? We can do both. There is no either or.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we had Brother J.R. Wisdom that came and visited us here. We had Go Black to Africa that visited us here in Uganda. And they don't want to move to Africa, but when they came through, we was here. We hosted them. The thing is, everybody's not going to want to live here, and everybody's not going to want to live in America. But is it possible that, through us having a community here, that could be a feedback loop into America that could benefit Black America and Africa at the same time? It's a possibility. It just hasn't been done yet, so nobody sees the advantage. But really, what we're doing here on this podcast, we're doing both. We both go back to our home countries with the passports. For example, the stuff that I have here, I could have never have accomplished it in America. But does everybody benefit from it? Like the information that we're giving or the entertainment value that we're giving? Yes. So we can do both. Everybody does both. Look at China. There are Chinese in China that just wouldn't have made it, but they came to where? Africa, right? Yeah. Or you have Nigerians that wouldn't have made it in Nigeria and they came to Britain or America. Are they doing both? Nobody criticizes Nigeria when they do both, right? That look at the remittances that you see going to, from the Nigerian diaspora to Nigeria. It's like almost $30 billion, something like that. Yeah. Is that doing both? Yes, because that money is rebuilding back in the continent. So building back, in the continent of Africa. And also, I want to get to the point that that Tina talked about. It's a small population of Blacks going to Ghana. And I think for the young lady, she's seeing the possibilities. Like, why are y'all not spending that money here in America? Well, Blacks have $1.6 trillion spending power. The question is, what are Blacks doing with their money? That's the question. So not about the blacks that are going to Ghana, but what are blacks who they lose? They be real. They lose their families' houses. Families are not prepared to do things, and nobody teaches you about financial planning in Black America. They just don't. My mom and dad didn't teach me. So now we want to blame people for being gentrified. Well, where we give the black church all the money, they don't do nothing with it. We fund churches all the time. Church of God in Christ, dare I say, AME, National Baptist, okay, Progressive National Baptist. We fund them all day, non-denominationals, and they don't do nothing in the community. You go and buy iPhones all day. You don't support your own businesses, and then the businesses are not good in Black America a lot of times. We don't want to solve problems to give value. So the reality is that's small-minded thinking. We can do both. If African Americans want to come to here, why should they be criticized? If you have African Americans that don't want to come to Africa, we don't need to criticize them either because they don't want to do it. But as something, let's say for example, if we had a society here, right? And I see Indians do this. Do you know Grishma, one of my best friends?
Yeah.
So Grishma, shout out to her, she just got married. She got married to a guy from India. She's Indian from France. I went to medical school with her in Poland. She got married to an Indian guy in the diaspora. And their families knew each other. They had a meeting of the families and all of that. And she was able to find her husband, not even in India, but right there in Norway. But their Indian families in the diaspora, they were able to connect it. What would happen if we could do that here? We have somebody in Ghana. All right, look, my son is ready. He goes to international school or night school. Your son or daughter's from Houston. Look, we're going to put up $25,000. You put up $25,000. They get their start. And they both have dual citizenship. Go start your life. That's the opportunities that we have there. But we're thinking about things that don't make sense. If Black Americans stay in America, hey, bro, we still love you. You know what I mean? That's all love, right? When I come back, we're going to kick it. And if you want to come this way, maybe you don't want to go to France or London. You might want to come here and kick it with me. Cool. We can still do business. We might send shea butter that way or vice versa. Or you might have a clothing line that's a fashion design label. And you want to come sell in Africa. Bring it. But that's what the diaspora has to do. We have to build that infrastructure for blacks to see the value. What she's saying is because we haven't built no value for it. So we don't see the outcomes. But but we can do both. Yeah. We can do both.
For sure. Now to flip the coin, the other side, what do you say to Africans who say that the fact that African Americans are coming to the continent, everything is getting more expensive? I think there was a time Ghanaians were complaining about it. They were just saying, oh, the price of the properties has gone up. You know, you go to a restaurant and it's not affordable anymore because there are people coming in with a high purchasing power. Because I mean, if you exchange your dollars to cedis, then of course you're going to get more money for that. So what's your take on that?
It's just, that's the way the world works at present, right? You know, like you're getting more people from diaspora coming in, or spending power, and you're accommodating for this, you know, for this new demographic, and I think it's unfortunate for sure, but it's just a way of life at present. How do you go about, you know, making it more fair, so to speak? I don't know, but it happens everywhere. You know, like where I grew up in London is a town called Harlesden now. There's a 4-bedroom house going for £2.6 million.
Whoa!
And it was bought for maybe £20,000 in 1980. So I can't even move back to where I grew up. You know what I mean? So it's just the way
of the world,
the way of the world.
Yeah. Tina, what do you think about that?
I think also with like the cost of things, it's more like it's not the fault of people that are coming from the diaspora or the people that are settled there. It's more like an issue for like the people with the power to change those things to tackle. Because 10 years back, there was always local rates and foreign rates. So locals could enjoy certain things at a local rate, and then foreigners had to pay maybe more of a premium price. It wasn't that much, but it was fair, right? Because obviously currencies are different. But that doesn't exist anymore. Like now when like Ugandans walk into places, they're being given dollar rates. Yeah. But how are you being given like a dollar rate when you earn in shillings?
Thank you.
You know,
so to drop some names.
Great point. Great point.
No, everywhere. Even like Source of the Now, everywhere in Ginger used to do both, but now it's just like a standard. And if there is a difference, even the shillings rate is extortionate to the point where it matches the dollar rate.
Yeah.
So it's not the people coming here or the people that live here. They need to make everything match so that it's fair, because you have to take currencies into consideration, right? And that's not being taken into consideration right now. Because I think if you try and have like a staycation in Kampala now, it's like $250 minimum for a
greedy
night.
businessmen.
And they will still charge you as a local in a dollar rate. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because $250 is like what, $700K? Some people earn that a month.
Right.
Thank you.
For a night stay somewhere. So it's not the people coming here or the people that live here, it's the people that benefit, because the people that set like the laws in place that we follow are also the people that own all of these places. So
Oh, wow.
Tina.
basically that's what it is. So it's, I think where we argue amongst ourselves, it doesn't make sense, because the people making the laws are the same people who own the privatized establishments, and then it's a cycle.
It's
And
very
then,
true.
Wow.
Yeah. Tina's worth her weight in gold in the podcast, y'all. So I think, like, you know what? In 2019 was a year of return. And number one, nobody expected that Ghana would behave like that, right? But what nobody understood was COVID. So people don't know economics, and I'm not an economics person, but I can understand that if you have all these people coming in that boosted your tourism, that was a positive. But if the government is still doing bad, that's also because with the money that you have, it wasn't reinvested, number one. And number two, other industries that should have been brought up, you didn't have the skill to do it, or it hasn't come up yet. So if you get a lot of money from tourism and you reinvest into, let's say, agriculture, well, it takes a long time to scale that particular sector up. And if you have mismanagement of funds or things like that, which we know there's nepotism and all that, if the diaspora brings all that money into a country, billions of dollars, where you have chance to, like Ghana, like I'm actually going to go to Accra to see how their diaspora runs, because they're way better than us, right? Like we're just now starting to get some recognition this year. But Accra, Ghana, they have the African American Association of Ghana there. They have parades. I mean, they're way better than us. But the diaspora is bringing money into the country, because people wouldn't have even come there if it wasn't for some of the early people.
Right.
But the money that's been there, what is the government doing with those monies? Or where's the reinvestment to the roads or to those industries that would actually create more jobs? Now, government doesn't create jobs, but they do make it, they do make the situations more feasible or malleable for jobs to be created. So I get what they're saying, that these African Americans and diasporans are raising the rents, but they're bringing money in at the same time. They're bringing money in that you wouldn't necessarily have. So if this money that's tax revenue is not being reinvested to other industries, the diaspora isn't to blame. Because the diaspora have been sending money for over, how many years have Ghanaians in America and Britain been sending money back to Ghana or Uganda? Uganda used to send like $1.3 billion from the diaspora back here to Uganda. And I mean, that kind of money, what are Ugandans feeling that, okay, there's so much change. It's all over Africa. So I think it's a bad argument, again, because the money is there. And shout out to the Ghana diaspora. I mean, they've done things that nobody's done in the world. Now you have Liberia return. Now you have Sierra Leone trying to compete. In East Africa here, we're still having some problems. But that's what happens. Like Thomas Sowell, the great economist, there are no solutions, only trade-offs. So you're gonna come across that bridge. If you start getting popping in Uganda, prices are gonna go up more. They're gonna go up more anyway because of inflation. It costs more to build these apartments, right? Without the diaspora coming in, it costs more. So that's where we have tried to mitigate those things to make sure that if the money is coming in, that the government can actually provide opportunities for the locals to do things. But if they do, it's great. If they don't, the diaspora can't be blamed. And locals need to understand that. That the tax revenue that the Ghana government got was huge from the year of return. If their economy is still failing because of that, it has to be because of mismanagement. And a lot of times corruption in regimes cost the country a lot of money to maintain. Because now the regimes are the project and not the country. So if the country is serious, we're going to see development in other sectors from the tourism money. That money should be allocated somewhere else. But most money in Africa is allocated to fund the government. African governments are taking loans out to run inept governments.
Their households.
Yes. So the diaspora, when we bring in money, it's money that when we come from the diaspora, you cannot, like for example, this podcast. I can't go to the government, any country in Africa, and get money for this podcast.
No.
This podcast is run from diaspora and earn money. Cash, right?
Yep.
That's what we do. We go to diaspora and work wherever we're working and bring cash. Hard-earned money that you had to trade time for money for. Yes? So when we bring money, we worked for it. When governments are taking money from loans, IMF, World Bank, they're financing the fiscal year to run the government. So you're blaming the people that actually bring money. And not the people that are actually raising the interest rates in your country, putting your kids into more debt. So I understand how locals feel, but understand that we are bringing our hard-earned money and we don't know what's going to happen with that money once we bring it.
Yeah.
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 For sure.
Great points.
Yeah.
Great points.
To flip the coin again.
Keep flipping it, baby. That's why you get paid the big bucks. Keep making me broke.
Yeah, build it up, Richard. Build it up.
No,
build it
so
up.
Build it up, brother.
Okay, now let's switch it up to how there's some Americans or people in the UK who feel like Africans shouldn't actually be moving to these states.
It's just anti-black and stupid.
Yeah, that's I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so there's some people that say Africans shouldn't move to like London.
Yeah,
or,
there's some people who say Africans should stay in Africa.
Then I can't even begin to get my head around why someone would say that. As a human race, we never stay in one place anyway, right? So why are you going to deny someone a different experience? You know, they may go have that experience and flourish and say, yeah, I like this place. This is for me. Or they may go, nah, this is not for me. You know, but you got to allow people to have that chance and make that decision. So yeah, I'm not for that.
Okay,
at all.
Tina.
And I feel like, not back in the day, but maybe a few years ago, there was this like misconception and maybe a dig that was thrown at African Americans that they don't travel, they don't leave where they're at. And I think like even that was like a tool of like white supremacy to sort of keep them in their bubble to not understand, right? Because I think like as African Americans, not even just African Americans, but even Caribbeans, right? It was cut off their roots in a sense and have them in this bubble to where they believe that that's all they have. So now with like globalization and everything, if black people are traveling more, why are we mad? That's freedom. Like that's actual freedom. The fact that we get to see everything, because in the context of everything, we explored the world before anybody.
Yes, we did.
So we've been doing that.
Yeah.
We left here and we went everywhere else. So like if we're doing that now, like we were cut off at a point. So if we can do that now, why isn't it being celebrated? Because again, right, I understand what the video said about pouring your resources back into your community. I understand that 100%. But when you look at the percentage, it's like 0.0 whatever.
Yeah.
Again, math's not there, but you know what I mean?
I
Like
get it.
0.0 whatever. So like it's a drop in the bucket, a drop in the ocean. So why should that matter? Let those people explore and then they can influence other people to explore, whether it's Africa, whether it's the Middle East. Like I think black people should be everywhere. Like because we have been everywhere
Yeah.
in history. So
Totally
like why
right.
can't we do that again? Like to where we can document it and really like place ourselves and take positions of power and influence and all of those things. So again, like people just in general come on the internet to say anything.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that ever happened to us was Wi-Fi. People just say anything
on the
It's like,
internet.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. O'Shea, what do you think?
I've never really been anti-African because my medical school, shout out to Abraham Diamande. He's from the Ivory Coast, you know, and he's my roommate in medical school the first year. So I love that guy, right? But we used to have like, he had a homeboy from Burundi, which is also Francophone African. I used to have some pretty anti-African viral videos on the internet, right? And it was not necessarily dissing anybody because I used to be like checking like these stuck up people I thought were Africans, like Nigerian Americans. I'd be like, look, yeah, y'all smart, but like I can guarantee if I go there to your country, I'm not gonna really see y'all winning like that. You know what I mean? But that's the attitude I used to have, and I thought fun about it. Like after talking to so many African brothers in Europe, and because when you're in Europe, you're no longer African American. You're just African guy. Because Polish people don't know the difference, right?
Yeah.
So I think those arguments are futile. And the reason why is this. All right, Africans taking African-American opportunities. I don't think so no more. Like, I used to somehow think that, but because African-Americans got so much opportunity. Our culture rules the black world, dominates the black world.
Yeah.
I know some of you Nigerian brothers are going to be mad, but I mean, I'm just going to be real. Y'all up there too. But both of us, but African-Americans got so much culture and opportunities that we don't even solve it ourselves. That's why people from the African community, like the Shade Room, can come into our culture and do very well because the opportunity is there. So these immigrants coming in, they usually don't even interact with us like that. I think that what happens with a lot of African Americans, they're like, okay, well, the government is bringing in these Africans who don't have a history of the oppression that we've been through, and the government is being favorable towards them. What can I also say the same? When I come to Uganda, the African governments somehow is being a little bit more, I'm not saying it's all the truth, but me and Maintain, we don't have the same experience as Africans here.
Yeah.
We getting favoritism. Sometimes, like Jonita said, hey, you got privilege because you got an American accent. Hey, man, we not walking through the same door as the local guy. Yeah. We getting opportunities that they not getting right away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in America, as if you can prove yourself what you're doing, you're going to be on. And America is like that. America is like, if you're good, you're good. Don't care if you're gay, you're fat, you're whatever. Yeah. So I think those arguments are futile, and we stay stuck on small stuff, rather as like it's enough for everybody to do something in America, man. Like America is just, there's nothing like America, man. Like even if you're in Cali, forget America, in Cali, Cali's bigger than Uganda and Kenya. Like as far, and the Cali's economy is bigger than any country in Africa, just California. Yeah. You got opportunities. So I think a lot of us as black brothers, we so focused on, some African disrespected us or vice versa. That's small-minded. Yeah. You Caribbean, so you know what happened in London. Y'all been there before they got there. Yeah. And you used to be on the other side like me. Because you was in that war in the 90s and 2000s. But it's stupid. It's because to us, to them, most people that's talking to wars, I found this out about African Americans that are on the Twitter spaces beefing with Africans or vice versa. Both people on either side don't really do anything for their own communities, right? So it's like people will respect you if you're nice, usually, if you have something to offer. Even in the African American community, I don't like everybody. And I'm black African American. African American is more likely to shoot me than an African, and vice versa. African is probably more like. So I think with that, those people, like we have Hispanics as the number one group now, minority group, right, in America. Okay. If you look at taking opportunities, it's not Africans. Africans is a very small number in comparisons to Russians or Ukrainians. Yeah. Africans not setting up credit unions. It's Ukrainians and Russians doing that, and Hispanics. So we got our energy towards the wrong people. And we should be focused on ourselves. Yeah. Because we still got 50 million people in America. That's enough to do a lot of damage. And we need to spread out.
There's a point I wanted to make, actually. On the weekend, some of you may or may not know, I went for the auditions at NRG Radio. Oh. As a DJ, right?
Yay.
And played an amazing set. They all said as much and said it was so different, so refreshing. We loved it. At the end of the audition, the guy looked at me and went, "Are you Ugandan?" Oh. And when he asked me that, I knew I didn't get it.
Really?
They didn't call you back?
No.
Energy.
And the thing is, right, if my employment takes a job away from a Ugandan, then I get it. I'll step back. But at the same time, I have over 10 years experience in radio presenting. Like in London, I was on an internet radio station, and it was the biggest hip hop internet radio station in London. So it's a double-edged sword. Like if I'm taking away a job from Uganda, I don't want that. But at the same time, if I'm there, I've got so much experience and so much connections. If people would have saw I was on that radio station, they would have flown over for an interview.
Yes.
Like the amount of connections I have. So I could have been mentoring people and bringing them up to a level that when I step away, it's blessed. I want to be seen as someone to build with. I don't want you to be intimidated by me and be like, he's not Ugandan, shut the door. So, it's I'm not going to give up, but that's the issue, some people are faced with.
I didn't know about Maintain situation with the NRG interview. I know we have somebody on our team that used to work for NRG in Kenya. But
Not a side eye.
She's behind the scenes.
She don't know I'm a jealous boss. She tried to play with me so much she wouldn't go to NRG Uganda interview. I was like, she had no idea she was getting ready to get up out of here real quick. But I'm gonna talk to her about that later because I am like God in the Old Testament. I'm very jealous. Like I am a iron fist ruler here at Kinganda. But no, I want to just say this to the brother. You know, Maintain is a awesome DJ, awesome guy. He loves his craft. But you know what? They made the right decision. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's our job to empower our brother in the diaspora. We need to be the ones that says, okay, you know what? You're in the diaspora. We need to come set up here. We're gonna pay you more than them, and we're gonna get you to where you need to be. That's what we need to do, right? Because that's the opportunity right now. And the diaspora has to come in with take your panties off. And I'm talking about men and women, right? And we got to actually come out here and be actual adults. This is Africa. We're here for a reason. We got to be here, and they're not going to see our way of thinking. So we got to show what we can do and add value here. So if they don't want to give them the job, they don't need to. That's for us to plan those things, bring value to our diaspora, and show what our brother can do. And he's been an amazing job here on the podcast.
Amazing.
He brought Sukali here. What else does he want? And the diaspora appreciates him. And that's where we come in. We got to change Africa from the outside in, right?
Yeah.
And show that our ways work. Because people are doing things the way they want to do. And that's fine. They have that, and they have that opportunity to do so. It's our job to create the opportunities for our people in the diaspora so they see why they come here. So I just want to thank him and thank everybody on the podcast. Thank you guys for supporting us. We have a newer setup. Shout out to brother Warta Maya, not Wode Maya. He roasted us up, so we have this. And thank you all for supporting us, and we're going to get better.
Yeah.
Peace.
Well said. Wait, to the point where they can find you.
Yeah, at DJ Maintain on all social medias.
Okay, Tina
Graham.
I like Tina's Graham.
But do not come and find me, please.
The School of O'Shea.
Some of these Negroes is nasty. They're really just take a picture of and send it to you.
But yeah.
That's what they do. I'm telling you. I'm just brothers up there. Girl, you look good, girl. I want to show you how good you look.
Yeah. They want to fly you out.
Saved,
and they'll
good.
tell you how much they earn a year. It's like, who cares?
Fly me
anyway.
out to where?
Then they send voice notes.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
And they do Instagram calls. No one does Instagram calls in this world. Anyway.
They do.
We're not hating on you, our dear supporters. We like you.
Clean. Just keep it clean. Yeah. If you feel compelled to contact, keep it clean. That's all.
Yeah. And also follow us on our social media pages at Kengana Nation. Send us your links to teamkengan@gmail.com. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and subscribe to the Pan-African Dating Show. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.